Darwin's survival of the fittest will be found to be too narrow. It will be replaced by the survival of the creator. This war against ghosts calls for action not only on the part of single individuals and small groups, but on the part of the broad masses of men. This war within ourselves is the creative revolution. How do you react to that?
Well, because of course a philosopher. And he speaks here as a philosopher, and also as a representative of the Godhead that he visualizes, which is man continuously reformulating himself throughout life. In fact, the whole idea that there is somewhere a God, you know, Moreno believes the Godhead is here, just like the Buddhists. That's why we are close to Buddhism. We are co-producers of the world with God. And that's why he declared in the Word of the Father, I am God. He didn't mean I am the only God. He meant I am God, you are God, you are God, you are God, you are God. That's what people don't understand. And so if you act as a co-creator of the universe, you have to improve the universe, not just yourself.
Yeah?
That's what he's trying to say.
This is one of the jobs of God, as we are. But then the fallen God.
Fallen God. He didn't believe in that. I mean, he's beyond all that. He said, well, these are all man-made structures and stories that do not relate to creative reality. I mean, Jesus, I asked him, did you think that Jesus was a real person? He said, oh yes. But he's been misunderstood completely. So, he looked at, he was a student of philosophy before he became a student of medicine. So he was had indulged himself, involved himself in studying all the religions. So, not only the structured religions, but you know, Chinese Confucianism and Taoism and God knows what. And in fact, I have a book here by Gong Shu, who relates the ideas of psychodrama to the Chinese ideas of living and creating. So we're not too far away from all of that. But what Moreno insisted upon, I think that Boal understood it, but he didn't refer enough to go to Moreno. He didn't want to admit that he had been influenced by Moreno, although there's been a whole lot of literature about that. Augusto Boal. But he too was looking for the spontaneous moment and spontaneity in the group. The thing is that because of the pathology in our world, spontaneity has to be evoked and guided, well guided. That's what goes together with creativity. There are twin principles. When anxiety rises, spontaneity goes down. When spontaneity rises, anxiety goes down. We saw it in Renato's production.
Yeah.
Same story, but the way he had formulated it for himself and the group changed it for everybody. Through his spontaneity, his creativity, and concretizing the facts and living them through. And it is little groups like that that Moreno believes will change the world.
Well, one of the reasons why spontaneity is not developed is because the way we use education, instead of promoting the development of people, represses that.
Exactly. We allowed the children till about through kindergarten, and then all of a sudden education steps in and kills it. Now, there are some people who try to change that, like Pestalozzi and who was the lady, Montessori, and Moreno was in their path, changing the way we educate children. In fact, I read an article some years ago in which 4th grade children, 2 groups were used. One was a group in which a story was read, stories were read to them to see if that affected their academic achievement. Another 4th grade group had stories read to them and enacted. The group that enacted the stories improved academically distinctly, way and beyond chance, statistically. So what playing does is it opens the world to the human being, it opens the mind.
Yeah.
Moreno said that for children, play is as essential as work for the adult. Without play, they don't form properly.
And it should be true also for the adults?
Oh, we used to go to the kindergarten for adults.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good? Good?
I don't know if you, where is the words of the Father?
The words of the Father. It's here.
He says specifically. By the way, do you have the tape of him reading the words of the Father? There's a tape of him.
Yes, I got it. I just got it.
It's not complete.
I haven't heard yet, but I got it. I have it. I ordered it and I got it.
Yeah.
It's an audio CD.
He says it here.
In the meantime, let me see if it's going through.
This came out in 1941.
Yeah. Although
September 1941.
it was written
Second
much
World
before.
War. Well, excuse me. Part of these were written in German, but he created a lot of the English ones that did not appear in the German. And also some things appear in the German that will not appear here. But it's interesting that he created it in German after the First World War, and this version during the Second World War, although this country wasn't involved yet. So in moments of crisis is when these ideas really began to formulate him more strongly, during the world crisis.
But at the beginning, if I'm not wrong, the first version of it was anonymous, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Then he decided to put his name in the 41 edition.
Yeah. But something I wanted to read in here to explain. He says, "No name is in my soul." Oh, here we are. I'll see if I can find it. Interestingly enough, one of my friends who was very well acquainted with the thoughts of Native Americans said it sounded very much like what some of the Native Americans pass on to each other.
Let me move you a little bit so we will have more of you.
Okay.
It's blocked, right? Let me. Yeah. I think it's going to be much better.
Of course, it's really a prophetic piece of work. I mean, he was truly inspired, you know. I mean, he heard the voice of God, but it was in the voice, his creative voice.
This was before your arrival, right?
1941, I arrived in August. This book came out just after I arrived. It had already it was already in the works. It's dated September 21, not 41, but it actually became public in December 1941. So I had nothing to do with the making of the book, except I wrote a prayer, a child's prayer, and he put it in there, in the back.
Ah, the child's prayer.
A child's prayer.
Uh-huh.
So if you'd like to hear my child's
Yes,
prayer.
yes. Absolutely.
I've never bothered to look at what page it is.
It's in the part that all the prayers.
Prayers of specific groups.
Yeah, there are prayers for Christians, for Buddhists, for Muslim, for Jewish.
Jewish, yeah. And
I haven't finished reading yet, so I haven't discovered this child prayer. Negro prayer.
Negro prayer.
Communist prayer.
Right.
Nazi prayer. It's quite ecumenical.
Yeah.
American prayer.
Yeah, right. Pagan prayer.
Pagan. War prayer.
A child praying.
Child. This is the one you did. The child praying.
It is a child prayer. Yeah.
Child's prayer.
Child's prayer. Here it is. They told me that I ought to pray. They did not tell me how to pray, but only what to say. Oh God, perhaps you will come today and teach me how to pray.
Mm-hmm. They told me that I ought to pray. They did not tell me how to pray, but only what to say. Oh God, perhaps you will come today and teach me how to pray. This is the second part.
No, that's it.
Yeah, but there is child's prayer.
That's not mine.
So you are...
He inserted just in time before, because he asked me, did I know anything about prayers and God, and that's what I told him. He said, oh, we'll put it in the book. So it was just put in the book in time.
So the first part of child's prayer, it's him.
That's his.
I'm ordered to be the moon. Into your hollowed hands drops my roundness, a cloud from your breath. Am I, when you speak, a shining white umbrella? When your word calls, I drop out and fall from infinite space as milk from a broken pitcher. Then it comes to you. They told me that I ought to pray. They did not tell me how to pray, but only what to say. Oh
what
God.
To say, but only what to say.
But only what to say. Oh God, perhaps you will come today and teach me how to pray. Yeah. So this was your contribution.
That's my contribution
to the words of the Father.
Right. So
good. Now let's put this back.
I love the part where he talks about, in my soul there is no name. There's no identity, no age is there, no... You remember that one? I love that one particularly. No race is there. In my soul, only God is there. I mean, that's not the whole, but that affected me especially, because no name. I mean, there's nothing to be proud about, in other words, nothing to hold on to. That's not my identity.
Did you have a specific religion before knowing him, Zerka? You? Were you Christian?
With men, you mean?
No, a religion.
Oh, religion. Well, I was Jewish. Again, that's a chapter in my book, how I went through that Jewish period and left it behind.
So everything has to be embargoed up to the
just a phase.
How long it took for you to finish the book?
To finish what?
The book.
This book?
Yeah, no, the book you are
the book I'm writing?
producing. Yeah, the Dreaming Again, right? It's To Dream Again. What's the title of it?
To Dream Again.
To Dream Again.
What about...
How long it took you?
Well, I started writing down pieces because my life was so interesting. I started down writing pieces well before this, and it was through a friend of mine that I was encouraged to write it down. I thought maybe for my grandchildren. And she encouraged, she said that other people would be interested in it too. But I didn't consistently work at it because I had to earn a living.
Mm-hmm.
And then I fell. And everything went to pieces for a while. So it wasn't, consistently working at it didn't really happen until about 2002. But the formation of it is a lifelong story.
Yeah, no, I can imagine that.
Yeah.
But then what have you decided to do? How have you decided to go through? It's in the first person, it's I, first person, all the time. And what is the...
Starting with my birth.
It's a
No,
chronological...
actually the book starts with the amputation. The story of my amputation. So people get a sense of what I went through. And then I start with my birth.
So and then you do a flashback.
Stories about the family and how I developed.
How important it is, the Moreno's part of it? Important from a physical point of view. How many pages do you...
I would say probably half of it is my story and half of it is my story with him and without him.
Mm-hmm.
Because Dale Buchanan said to me, and I put that in my beginning book, we know who you are as Moreno's partner, but we don't know anything about Zerka. Who is Zerka? Who was Zerka before she met Moreno?
Mm-hmm.
That stimulated me because it's important to know what happened before I met Moreno. Because I was 24 years old. I mean, I was pretty fully formed as a person, except for this area of growth that I learned from Moreno.
Mm-hmm. And why that option for fashion? How did you arrive to the fashion?
Well, I was pretty good at drawing. Have you ever seen my designs?
No, never. You haven't shown me.
To show you the next time. These are not complete. I had a whole lot more, but I secured some.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think I was good enough to be professional. I always thought that my classmates did better than I did.
Mm-hmm.
That was not very encouraging. So, in fact, I worked for a designer when I came to this country first. But I worked in 2 different studios in England, not designing, but sewing, learning all the aspects of making garments. Mm-hmm. And then, when I came to this country, it was depression here. And unless you were really one of the big ones, you know. I think one of the reasons I gave myself for wanting to come to America was because I thought the center of fashion had moved from Paris to Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a natural idea to go to the Americas where this was happening, in fact, because of this revolution. And it is true that some very fine designers designed costumes and everything for the movies. I just recently saw 2 historic movies. One was Man for All Seasons, which is of the 16th century. Beautiful costumes. And Nicholas and Alexandra, which is about the last Tsar and his wife. And the costumes were amazing. I mean, they were true to the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I really thought I was most interested in doing historic costumes,
Mm-hmm.
rather even more so than current ones. But that alone might not have made me a living. But I used to go to the Victoria and Albert Museum and study costumes there from the different historic parts of England. And, well, it was a world of fantasy. The interesting aspect of it. It's a world of dreams and fantasy.
So without meeting Moreno, for instance, your life would probably be designing things for Hollywood, for historical pictures.
If I had stayed with it long enough and pushed hard enough, might well have been. But I needed to earn a living, so I learned shorthand and typing. And then I became useful to him. Practically. I was a practical background.
But you learned that before knowing him, the typing.
Yeah. Because I couldn't make a living doing fashion design. I was still studying. I was really still building my craft, actually. Yeah. And it's interesting that for me, some of the best psychodramatists have come from art, especially from the drama, or from music, or from one of the arts. They seem to have a special link to it in their soul. Because you have to be an artist too to be a psychodramatist.
Yeah. But at which extent you have used what you knew about fashion and in psychodrama? Because I never saw any development from the closest point of view we could have had.
I was learning from J.L.
Mm-hmm.
And he was dealing largely with psychotic patients. He didn't use costumes. If a patient had an idea of who they were, he let them get dressed that way. But he didn't impose costumes on them. However, when you were here, Jeannie introduced the colorful scarves. And I liked that idea of focusing upon shape and color. It's a very nice idea.
So there was no idea of developing clothes for the different roles. This was not at the.
Not then.
Why? Because there was no need for that, or.
I don't think Moreno thought in those terms. He said if you thought you were God and you were naked, that was perfectly all right. If you thought you were a queen and you yourself knew you had a crown. In Europe became a world famous actress, Elizabeth Bergner. He discovered when she was a little girl playing in the Augarten. She said something very interesting about him. He made her familiar with the abstract. It sounds very much like a forerunner of surplus reality. It didn't have to be there. You just had to sense the abstract.
Yeah. Before knowing him, did you have any insight about what psychodrama could be, or nothing?
Nada.
But why him? Why not another?
Come on, I don't have to give you my whole book away again, That is all very important in the path of my life, those questions, and they are being answered in the book.
Okay, so I should not touch that past for the time being.
No.
So let's wait. The problem with the book is...
It's going to be out. That part, I'm sure, is not going to be touched. No way.
What do you think? Well, then, but it's quite hard to ask something that, not knowing what is in the book.
Do you know what your life is going to be like tomorrow?
I have no idea, Zerka. I have no idea.
Okay. Voila.
I can probably
So you can live with it.
project, yeah, what's going to be.
Yeah.
But the
But it wouldn't be fun to know everything in a book before you read it.
yeah, but you know, I think that there are two different levels. One thing is that what comes in the book. Another one, which is completely different, is to have someone talking lively about an experience. So I don't think that...
But I don't have one experience. I have a whole numberless experiences.
Mhm. And not all probably are reflected in the book, right?
Couldn't possibly be. You'd have to have 5 volumes. By the way, I don't want to break this up, but are you watching the time for yourself? Because you have a time limit for yourself before you leave for the...
Yeah, do you think we are
No.
about to end?
I just want you to look at the time, and what is it?
We are about to have 1 o'clock. We have 3 minutes left.
Right.
So-
And I still need to sign your certificates and stuff.
Yes. So why don't we finish these and final words of the mother? The words of the mother. Well, to get with...
Live your life intensely.
Mhm.
Live every moment intensely with spontaneity, with creativity, and with amusement. We need laughter in this crazy world,
Yeah,
and joy, even the craziness.
absolutely. Absolutely agree with that. Yeah. Good. So that's the end of this chapter. We are in Charlottesville on the 9th of November 2009. Good, at Zerka's house. Well, that's it, Zerka. So let's stop.
Thank you.